What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. My name is Lamont. I've been a full-time trader for 6 years now and part of the Chart Guys team for about half of that, where I head up our futures room and, of course, our swing report as well. In this video, we're going to talk about how we captured the last week's big old move in Apple, how we try to capture that same move in Roku, which didn't materialize but still paid us, so that's nice. And we'll check in on some of the other public updates and whatnot. So without further ado, let us get into Apple first. So Apple, this was not a public idea that was shared last week, but I will include the section of the private update video from last week where I go over this setup at the end of this video, but I'll very briefly just go over it now. And if this is not your first time here, then you're probably already familiar with the setup that I use. In fact, if you look at these 5 days, you can probably just guess what I said last week and how we played it this week. Or no, what I said 2 weeks ago and how we played it last week. So anyway, the idea was this. So full disclosure, this original idea was a bust. So we came up with this trade idea. Let's see, where is it? Back here, and we were looking for a higher low after this move up, looking for a hold of here, and then essentially this move, and that was a bust. And so last week I said, all right, even though that was a bust, we stopped out. There was no follow through beyond this structure, which is the key structure that the trade was designed around. And so after that big move up, and then seeing how Friday closed like that with a failure to get down to the point of control, it made sense then that if we got a strong open on this day, right, an open that does not take out yesterday's point of control, the prior session's point of control, it didn't even take out the value area high, then we can buy that pass back over the open, chop it up at the next area of resistance, and then just walk up stops for the rest. And so yeah, so that's what we did. We bought this pass back over the open. You see this stop loss here. The stop loss is next to nothing. You can throw your entire account at this, and even the first profit taking here will put 0.5% onto your account, right? So it's a very asymmetrical setup. It worked out really well for us. Doesn't always work. It didn't work. Well, it did work in Roku, but if you're subscribed to our Slack channel, then you saw me fail to trade this setup on Meta. Right? It didn't work for Meta on Friday. I mean, obviously, turned out to be quite a strong day. So it is what it is. Sometimes you're wrong. And we'll go over how we were wrong about, not wrong, but we'll go over how it shook out in Roku as well, because Roku is one of the public ideas that was shared last week. So anyway, the alerts, just to show you guys, if you're not a subscriber, the alerts go out. I actually messed this up. The alert went out pretty late because I just fumbled. I'm like warming up again, trading stocks more. And so I'm like juggling these brokers. I have Fidelity and Interactive Brokers and TOS. And so just still warming up, right? Either way, I just messed up with the execution and I ended up, I'll just show you guys. Hang on a second here. Let me just pull up the, okay, so let's, pull, hold on, I gotta do more than one day. All right. I guess I'll just put it on the chart here. So that was this day, right? Here's the date or whatever, 11/6. That's this day here, and you see what I did is I meant to put a stop loss, so I bought the pass back over the open, and then I meant to put a stop loss in, but I did it on the chart. I right clicked on the chart and I assumed that it would just set it automatically at where your cursor was, the price level, but no, it doesn't do that. It must have just did it at whatever price it was at, and so I closed it out twice completely. You can see the timestamps, like in my mind, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I finally figured it out a few moments later, and thankfully these were all just slightly profitable. Let's just call them scalps. Obviously I didn't plan to do that, but fortunately those were both profitable. And then the chop that I ended up getting was at 17729, so it was very late because I was fumbling this. 17729 was here, right? So the original trade, had I got better location, much closer to the open, it would have been better, of course. And then the chop was at 178.36, right? Okay, and so actually the risk was just practically just at the 1R. Just wanted to get risk free so that I could go back to trading futures. I believe I was trading futures this day. Usually am. And then after that, the updates are we just continue to set these updates. So I took more off of the Apple buy from yesterday before the test of the prior low. So that's this low over here, this guy right here that the letter went out on this day. And then for the rest, I just walked a stop up. Just walked it up here. So the low of 2 days ago, yesterday? No, it's less yesterday, right? So the low, it's just under here now, right? And so even though I didn't get the ideal location, like it was what, 36 or something, you get a 2% on like a quarter of it, and then worst case scenario, you get 3.48% on the other quarter, and that original one was like 0.5% or whatever, right? So you're never carrying much risk at all, and you just had a lot of gains from it. So that's pretty much it. So this idea was like actually, again, these are the public videos. I can't obviously we have to keep some stuff exclusive to the private members. But last week's title regarding how to capture the big move, I kind of had this in mind more so than the public ones, because of course the public ones are, again, not the official ideas for whatever reason. They were like either busted trades that I'm doing follow-ups with, or they were just shared publicly like Oracle. Anyway, so yeah, so then let's check out Oracle. And again, for if you want to check out the setup, me talking about this setup, before it played out in 2 weeks prior, or I guess that was last week. Just stay tuned for the end of the video. I'll include the snippet at the end of this video. Okay. And it just gives you a taste for what the Swing Report offers. So the Swing Report is a weekly publication. We'll send you at least 2 novel ideas every single week. You'll get updates for those, for all ideas as they develop, as the trade ideas develop, even if I don't trade them. If I do trade them, then you will get literally updates on how I am trading them, including if Dan, Lori, Joey, if they have a trade idea, they will do the same exact thing, post updates as we go. It also has grant you access to educational videos, and we'll do a quick market rundown, give you some like fundamental updates or whatever, things to look out for in the following week. And basically it's everything that that we think a swing trader would need. So check it out. And if you're a more active trader like us, then it's still good actionable information. Like I'm not, yeah, like I'm swinging them, but it's I'm day trading positions to potentially swing them. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, give us a shot. Links in the description, whatever you call that stuff at the bottom of the video description, I guess, details box. I don't know. Anyway, so for Oracle, if you recall last week, what we were saying was, okay, well, if we start seeing value move lower for a few sessions, then the first opportunity that we get that where value is trying to move higher, meaning we have an open above the prior session's point of control, then that would be a very reasonable setup for that potential daily higher low. And we just didn't get that because we didn't get any daily retracement last week. So that setup still makes a lot of sense. So we can continue to look for that. It should be very similar to what happened with Apple, right? As soon as we get that little pullback such that we can look for a potential daily higher low to be set, you can look for that setup. So actually in Oracle, technically, even though value didn't move lower, technically, if you're trying to play for this higher low, you can look for that setup next week. I don't love that as much. I would prefer to see some more weekly retracement before looking for that play. And honestly, from here, it's all about this now. Now that these buyers have flipped this guy or have traded through this guy, the backtest of it becomes key. Okay, so you can see how this structure here was problematic for buyers here, and probably even on this session. Like, I mean, look at how price is responding to these levels. It's practically the point of control is practically the high of day on this session. It's practically the high of day on this session. On this session, you open under the value area high, don't see a follow through over it, and then crash back down under the point of control, test the value area low, and close pretty much right on that point of control. Then on this day, you open up right over the point of control. You dip wee bit, you dip down. The low of the day is 109.19, and this point of control is roughly 109.17. So you open right on that POC, dip down to barely kiss it, right? Just a little peck, and then it's off to the races. So obviously this structure is letting us know it's important and in play right now. So if we begin to retrace here, you can be looking for these daily higher low plays off of this guy as well. Now, put that all together, and the best case scenario, so here's your trade zone, right? You'd be looking for something like this, right? Looking for this daily higher low. But if you are, being considerate of the session to session setup, as I will likely do myself, something like this, bigger picture, like high level, whatever setup, this makes a lot of sense. If you're going to trade it like how I like to trade it, then you're going to wait for price to come down in here. Value will move lower for a few sessions. And then if price does happen to hold here, then we'll look for, again, that same exact setup in Apple, a strong open after we've begun daily retracement. Okay, so that's pretty much it for Oracle. And so Roku, we'll go over Roku as well. So Roku was technically is a failed trade attempt, but we still got paid on it because remember what we talked about last week, right? We were saying, okay, well, if we see value move lower, right, which it did here, right, value move lower, and then we get an open above. Technically, we could have tried it here too, actually. This wasn't paying. Oh no, this was Monday, so we could have tried it here as well. This moved down, passed back over. It would have been a chop and stop here as well. It was a chop and stop here too, no big deal. But the idea is you let daily retracement be. Oh, actually, we wouldn't have wanted it on Monday. We would have only wanted it on this Wednesday session because that's when the daily retracement began. So on Wednesday, the daily retracement began. We were looking for this to potentially be a higher low. Technically, it was a higher low because this high broke over all of these highs. So technically, we did get a higher low and higher high. We just didn't see follow through on it. We can't do anything about that, right? But if we can position well for the potential of there being follow through, great. That's what we want to do over and over again. And if we can position such that we get paid a little bit too, great. That's pretty ideal, So pretty much what happened, that we laid out last week occurred. Daily retracement, a strong open over yesterday's regular trading hours high, or the prior session's regular trading hours high, and the point of control. And so on this move down, I just bought the pass back over the regular trading hours high, chopped it up at the open, took some profit at the open, took some more profit here because it was pretty much a double top. It was the high of this session and the high of this session both were there. And so that was pretty much it. And then I stopped out the last piece. And again, because I was live trading it, those alerts go out to you guys, right? These alerts go out. This went out in the pre-market, So like you have a lot of time if you're a more active trader. This is 30 minutes, 33 minutes before the open. So I'm saying the context is there for that setup. This is how I traded it here, and then stopped out the rest. All right. So if you're interested in getting these live updates and new ideas every week and an overall picture of the market, blah blah blah, then give us a shot. Check out the swing report. Again, links in the bottom. We also last week we had XOM as well. So full disclosure, I never want to misrepresent anything, or I never want to misrepresent anything. So for XOM, we were looking for the potential of a strong open on this day, and then if that did follow through, then we would likely see a move up here. I don't think that it shook out actually on Monday. Oh no, it is. So on Monday you do get an open above yesterday's point of control, but you don't hold it, right? And so you never get that pass back over the open play, right? So actually, let me make sure. On the 6th, I'm wrong. So you do have this open here. You come down, they hold the POC, you roll back up. So if you buy this pass back over the open, this was just a stop out, right? And it was a 0.37% stop out. No big deal, right? So if you took both the XOM and the Roku, you're probably like flat, right? But if you got the Apple trade, great, you're sitting pretty, So that is it. So if you're interested in seeing that Apple setup laid out before everything happened, before the move played out to capture the next big move, or how we capture the last big move, which was the next big move then. Stay tuned because I'll include that snippet at the end of this video. If you're new around here, we would very much appreciate a like and subscribe. Helps us out a lot. Costs you nothing. And that's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys sharing some of your time and energy with me. And I hope to see y'all soon. Farewell. So Apple was a busted trade as well. I didn't trade it for for the reasons we shared in the prior videos. I wanted to see what earnings look like and whatnot. Now, however, next week, if you get an open above this candle, right? If you get an open above the point of control, or even above the high of Friday yesterday, then the session to session setup is there. It's the same exact setup, right? If you get an open here and then you don't come down and you don't find acceptance under the value area high and the point of control, then you pass back over the open, we can look to buy that open, throw our stop under the low of the day, because then the daily higher low has probably been set here, right? And if you'll notice, this trade zone was so far was good here, because like again, it's based off of bottom fishing off of this point of control. So if you don't see follow through below it and then you pop back over it again, this trade zone comes right back on the table. It's very similar to what I was just talking about. If the context remains, if we're over this point of control, then bottom fishing off of it makes sense, especially if you just had a big rip up and you're looking for another daily higher low. That's what we were looking for here. Big rip up, daily higher low. Context is there again. And so it's reasonable to fire away, because if you think about it, like this is a 1.52% stop. If you ran it here, it's a 1.7% gain on, well, at least one of the fills. So anyway, that's the idea, is as long as the context is there, you can fire again. And if you're tentative or whatever, you're not sure, just shoot me a message first, and this is, remember, first and foremost, an educational publication. So yeah, take the lesson, don't worry about catching every single trade. Take the lesson. And eventually, I promise you, eventually it will all click. Eventually. Like it's no different than anything else. You look at whatever it is that you're good at, anything that you're good at, music, sports, or writing, whatever, art, right? You were crap first, right? It's just always had the case, right? I was crap at everything as well, right? And then over time, your brain builds those neural connections, and then you just become more effective at it, right? And so learn the lessons now, and you can take advantage. It's like what Dan says about garlic. If you've ever seen that video that he had where he's like, you plant garlic, you can benefit greatly from it. Lots of different garlic will grow from a single plant, but it's not going to be right away. Anyway, moving on then. This is a doozy of a